Good morning, welcome, vanakkam, suprapadam. About 4 years prior to my recording this video, Donald Trump, former President of the United States of America, has had a narrow escape. The bullet of an assassin grazed past his right ear, tearing off the upper portion of his ear. Fortunately, his life is not in danger. The injury is negligible as far as we know today, but sadly, one person has succumbed to bullet injuries, two more are critically injured. Donald Trump has been given preliminary treatment in a nearby hospital. From there, he tweeted that he finds it hard to believe that such a thing can happen in America. Well, even as I'm glad and relieved that his life is not in danger, I have to disagree with him. Such a thing can happen in America. Such a thing can happen anywhere in any country in the world where people begin to repose their faith, their trust increasingly in violence, as is surely the case in America. America is a country which is now becoming a home of the cult of violence. It was difficult for me to believe 3 years ago that what happened on the 6th of January that year could happen in America. That was difficult for me to believe. What was it that happened? Inspired, may I even say instigated by Donald Trump, a large crowd of people, many of them outright hooligans, invaded the Capitol in Washington, D.C., in order to prevent the due process of the election being ratified by the American Congress. They had even prepared the news for the Vice President Mike Pence because he refused to cooperate with Trump's conspiracy to deny the duly elected candidate the opportunity to assume office. That was a naked display of unprecedented organized violence taking place or enacted in the very temple of American democracy. So, according to Donald Trump, it's quite all right to resort to violence, spread the poison of hatred, instigate people to defy the law of the land, to desecrate well settled traditions, customs, and practices, go against the manifest law and lawful entitlements, all to secure one's own interest. So the logic here seems to be that it is all right to resort to violence, it's all right to play the demonic card to suit one's interest, but the same thing should not get back and bite him. In this context, I am reminded of a line from Shakespeare's immortal play Macbeth, one of the four major tragedies, where Macbeth, having resorted to violence in order to fulfill his ambition to be the king, he kills Duncan, becomes the next king, and then his conscience begins to gnaw at him. And he finds it hard to reconcile himself to the reality that he is now a criminal first and a king next. And then there's a soliloquy where he says, these instruments of violence that we invent for the sake of others, they return to plague the inventor. The poison chalice, which is meant to be consumed by your enemy, comes home, returns home to plague the inventor. In these cases, we have judgments here upon the barren and a promontory of time. So, as Jesus said, the what we do to others will be done to us. Do unto others only what you would that they should do to you. There is a reciprocity in the logic of time and history. It cannot be that we can resort to whatever we want in order to push our claim or secure our interest, and at the same time remain immune to these unfortunate patterns that we ourselves initiate. There is a verse in the Bible which says that they have fallen into the pit which they dug for others. This is invariably the case. Anyway, I don't want to sound moralistic in this. I don't think this is moralism. This is simple common sense. If you create a logic, then that logic will apply to you. It's as simple as that. Now, I urge all those who listen to me, upon my knees, I urge you to realize that this is a path to self-destruction no matter where it happens. And particularly, I worry for my country because here a massive and orchestrated effort has been made, is being made to shift the very foundation of our national life from love to hatred, from peaceful coexistence to discrimination to alienation to fragmentation, from tolerance to intolerance, from justice to injustice. Now, this seems to be a very exciting agenda for those who hope to benefit from it short term, but in the long term, this is the dangerous game. One thing I know for sure, and that's the one thing I want to emphasize in this video, there is no alternative to love. Life exists on the foundation of love. Life originates in love. Life can be nourished only by love. Life is sustained by love. Life is ennobled by love. And finally, life is redeemed by love. Remove love from life, life becomes unbearable. That's why people end their life. They take the extreme step of committing suicide. It happens only when the fountainhead, the wellspring of love dries up. As long as there is a ray of love still left in one's life, suicide becomes impossible. As long as there is an element of love left in one's nature, violence and cruelty towards others is impossible, unthinkable. So, in order that there be a culture of violence, a politics of violence, a life strategy of violence, it is necessary to kill love first. My dear friends, it's high time we realize that before communal atrocities are unleashed, before anyone we hate is killed, what we do first is to murder love. It's impossible to hate a fellow human being, leave alone killing a fellow human being, without killing love first. It's always love that we murder. And only secondarily do we murder our fellow human beings. Even when we only hate our fellow human beings, we murder love first. So when a nation is encouraged and inspired to be a nation of haters, please understand the brutal reality that we are also encouraged to be potential murderers. And potential murderers, as the logic of history will tell us, are also potential victims and potential corpses. That is the justice, that's the poetic justice of history. It cannot be otherwise. So, this path of hatred is the path of self destructive folly, and it's high time, and indeed it's beginning to be late for us to proclaim it from the rooftop that this path of hatred is a path of self destruction, it's a path of national desecration and destruction, and there is no future in this journey along the highway of hate. Now, in this video, I don't want to focus on hate. I want to tell you something about my philosophy of life. For me, life is equal to love. Love is the light of life. And therefore, my philosophy of life is also my philosophy of love. And in the many, many days ahead, I hope to share with you in slow and gradual measure the philosophy of love I have developed over a long period of time in the silent temple of my inner meditations. I am offering you the most sacred thing in my inner life. And I can do that with courage and confidence because I know that you are mature enough to receive it in an attitude of sanctity and purity, which is required for an exercise of this kind. Now, in this video, for the time being, let me only say an introductory thing. As I said, to me, the essence of life is love. And what is love? To me, love is the most quintessential element of the divine. Love is God. God is love. Just as in Hinduism, God is recognized as truth, and Gandhi modified it as truth is love, truth is God. I take the liberty of modifying the idea that God is love and say that love is God. That is to say, if there is love in me, if there is love in your heart, if there is love shining through the life of the millions of our fellow countrymen and women, it is because there is this reality of love which transcends all of us. When I love you, it is not that there is something that is exclusively from within me that I try to express. I am actually expressing something beyond me in a state of connectivity to you out of my sense of absolute oneness with you and my keen desire to give you the very best that I am capable of, because there is nothing beyond love that I can think of as a blessing to humanity. If people are famishing throughout the world, as Mother Teresa said, they are famishing, they are hungering, they are thirsting for love. Not for wealth, not for power, not for popularity, not for celebrity status, not for success. People are starved of love. We are living in a culture of organized lovelessness. And this is also a culture of diminishing God awareness. That's the reason why I connect love with God and God with love. It's purely out of an awareness of the realities of life, realities of contemporary culture and history. So there is nothing religious to what I'm saying. Absolutely nothing. It's based on my understanding of life through long meditations based on actual experiences. Now, therefore, the first thing I want to tell you is that love is something beyond me. Now, if you want to understand it through an analogy, think of the sun. The sun is beyond me, but the rays of the sun need to enter me through my eyes, interpreted by my brain, and then transmitted as messages throughout my body for me to act in a meaningful, sensible manner. That light does not reside within me. It's not my light. It's the light of the sun. which must find expression, which does find expression through me. And it's because there is sun at that great distance which is shedding its light continually all over our universe that it becomes possible for a small little creature like me even to say these words. After all, even to make this video, I need light. Without the light of the sun, I cannot make this video. And you cannot see this video. Without the light of the sun, there will be no life on this earth. Now, love is like the sun. What the sun is to the physical world, love is to the human and spiritual world. Now, let that be the very first thing that we register. All these things have to be registered step by step if we are to comprehend the meaning of what is being shared. Now, just as the sunlight coming upon and falling on the face of the earth finds its infinite expressions depending on where it falls, how it falls, so also love as the light or love as the sun of life falls upon us, upon you, upon me, upon every human being on planet Earth, and finds its own expression, different, infinitely variant, depending on the particular individual, the particular context of culture, climate, time, gender, age, etc., even intellectual development. What is to say the specific color and flavor of the individual? It finds an expression which is unique, which is different from the expression it has through everybody else. But at the same time, it also has a substratum of shared identical expression. Just as we all belong to the species human, Homo sapiens, at the same time within that category we are unique individuals, so also in the case of the expressions of this human sun of light, love, the light of life, it falls upon us and finds expressions that are unique to our personality, but expressions that are common to the species to which we belong, which is Homo sapiens. Now, I'm now going to talk about the common expressions that the light of life, which is love, the very sun of life, finds as it falls on us. Now, we have 4 dimensions. We normally talk about 3 dimensions, but let me talk about 4 dimensions. Everyone knows that we are a body, we are a mind, we are a soul, and we are also the we are sensitive, holistic creatures who can respond to the world. In ourselves, we are a mind, body, and soul, but we are also responding agents. That also is a reality. It is this reality that others experience most of all. It will become clear as I proceed. Now, my theory is this: the light of love, as it finds expression through my mind, let me take the mind first, becomes truth. What is truth? My simple definition of truth is the light of love as it finds expression through my mind, And it is only when the light of love finds expression through my mind and makes me a medium of truth that I become capable of justice. There can be no justice without truth, and wherever there is truth, there will be justice. And therefore, we must understand that when a culture of hatred is spread, we are actually creating and spreading with great enthusiasm a culture of injustice also. A culture of injustice is a culture of oppression, and a culture of oppression is a culture of destruction, all round destruction, as in the case of Germany, which speaks eloquently to us. Now, that's the light of love as it falls on our mind and finds expression through it. It becomes the light of truth, and the light of truth operates as justice in the world out there. Now, this light of love, as it falls on my heart, enables me to love others. I said love is something that exists above me. I'm not the source of that love. Though many people think that they themselves are the source of love, I don't think so. I believe that the source of love is God Himself. That's why I believe in God. My main evidence that there is God is that there is love. But for God, there will be no love on planet Earth. Love does not come naturally to us. Love has to come to us from another source. Hate may come to us. Falsehood, the capacity to invent lies, will come naturally to us. But the capacity to stand up for truth has to come to us through another source. Make no doubt about it. Don't take these things for granted. I know that what I'm trying to explain to you is a bit complicated, not complicated, a bit subtle, but I'm trying to make it as simple as I can in the simplest of language possible. Please try to follow this, I beg of you. So, the light of love, as it illumines my heart, empowers me to relate to others as an agent of love. If there is love in my heart, I will be able to love you without any vested interest. If my heart is filled with the opposite of love, which is hatred, then I'll only see enemies wherever I look. That's why people think that, everywhere we are surrounded by enemies. And that neurosis about being surrounded by enemies is being now electorally exploited. You are in danger. Enemies are all around you, so gang up and we will protect you. All these are aberrations in the way we look at people because there is no love in our heart. Well, if there is no love in your heart, you will see an enemy even in your own children, leave alone somebody else. Why do you think children kill parents? Such instances are not rare these days. Children kill parents, parents kill children. Why? Not because they belong to different religions, but because there is no love in their heart. It is this love that safeguards the beauty and the sweetness of interpersonal relations. And love without beautiful, sweet relationships is an unbearable burden. It is this that makes life livable, lovable, enjoyable. And we are destroying that. We are destroying that. We are destroying the very light of life. Then look at the other aspect. This light of love falls on your soul and it becomes compassion. Compassion is the expression, the spiritual expression of love. If there is no love in your soul, you will not be compassionate, rather, you will be cruel. And that is why, in the politics that's being propagated today, high premium is placed on cruelty. Take pride in your ability to practice cruelty without compunction. Then you're macho, then you're a man, then you're powerful. And that's the idea of self assertion. My dear friends, there can't be greater madness than this. Only those who know nothing about the logic of life will talk like this. Unfortunately, we have not developed through education a capacity in our people to discern, to understand these dangerous aberrations in the true perspective. That's why, too late in the day, we have to undertake an exercise of this kind. So, the need for compassion. Then we are a body. Love, when it expresses through the body, becomes the spirit of service. Service. You look at those who are preaching hatred. You look at those who believe in cruelty and take pride in cruelty. Those who think that the greatest thing in the world is to dominate others, to suppress them, to ground them to the dust like that. The one thing they are incapable of is the spirit of sincere, selfless service. Yet, I tell you, you cannot imagine human greatness without the willingness to serve and serve without any selfish interest. To be free from the mercenary spirit in relation to the service that we render to others is a sign of true nobility. If I were to do this work expecting some monetary return from you, I cannot do this work. My heart will sink into my boots. As I once revealed, at least 3 of my younger friends were members of our group. They offered financial help. I declined politely because the moment a single rupee comes into this mission, its soul gets corrupted. I have to be totally, absolutely, uncompromisingly pure in my heart, free from every vestige of self interest, every expectation of reward, even recognition, to be able to do this work out of pure love. And if pure love is not my motivation, then I'm only mere sound. I can't do you any good. So, when we talk about the spreading like cancer of a culture of hatred and violence, we must understand that what is involved is nothing but the horror of all round destruction. But unfortunately, in the human domain, in the mega collective context, it takes time for the full horror of this to be revealed. It happens in slow measure because as we move from the lifespan of the individual to the lifespan of a nation, there is a huge leap in the scale. We live for 70 years, 80 years, 90 years, some even 100 years. But a nation has to live several millennia. Therefore, the pace at which the consequences of our self destructive decisions, choices, and crude delights is revealed will be very slow, which induces in people the complacency that there is no harmful consequence to the diabolic, satanic decisions they take and the strategies that they resort to. But rest assured, inch by inch, we are progressing along the highway of self destruction and national desecration. There is absolutely no future along this way. This is a bus ride to absolute self destruction. There's not a single instance to prove that what I'm saying is wrong. History is witness to the fact that this is the truth. There is no alternative to love. After all, we talk about patriotism, don't we? What is patriotism? Love for the country. Why is patriotism such a good thing? Because loving the country is a good thing. What that means is that love is a good thing. If we love the country benefits. If we hate the country is ruined. If that is clear, then how is it difficult for us to understand that filling the country with hatred is horrendous for the country? How can patriotism and a culture of hatred coexist? For the life of me, I can't understand this. Why can't people see through this monstrous contradiction? How can patriotism and the politics of hatred coexist? For God's sake, think. Look at the desecration of the person, every individual, as he or she comes under the influence of hatred. We know many instances, I don't have to cite instances by name. Look at the way they talk. Look at the expressions on their face. It's subhuman. When I see these specimens, my heart bleeds. I cry inwardly, silently. This tragedy should not happen to anyone. It's a picture of death like self desecration. That's what the politics of hatred does to us. I'm not saying that politics of hatred is exclusive to one political party. My interest is not political at all. My interest is purely human and humanistic. I cannot stand and watch in silence or watch in apathy the desecration of the human that is perpetrated day in and day out in order to secure some fleeting, paltry political gains. We are cutting the branch on which we are sitting. It's an exercise, a massive exercise in self destruction, national desecration. I wish I had the eloquence to convey to you the tragedy, the danger, the colossal foolishness involved in this. So, my dear friends, do not be surprised if Donald Trump had an hairbreadth escape, literally hairbreadth escape. A little to the side, he would have been a dead man. Little. He escaped literally by the skin of his teeth. That's what politics of hate does to you. The person who invented it, who perpetrated it, who popularized it, who reveled in it, who thought he could gain mega, gains out of it, in a short span of 3 years, 3.5 years, is caught by the same logic. I'm not justifying it. I denounce it, I condemn it. It should not happen. Even if violence is used against me, I should not return or react in violence. That's beautifully brought forward by Jesus. Please allow me to make this reference. Jesus goes to a garden called Gethsemane there to pray. And there, as per prior arrangement, the armies of the Roman army, complemented by the foot soldiers of the chief priests, come to arrest him by violence. They lay hands on him. And Jesus' foremost disciple, Peter, who had a sword with him, uses a sword and slashes the earlobe. Now, it's very interesting. The ear, not earlobe, the ear. Donald Trump's ear has a counterpart in the gospel. And what does Jesus say? Put down the sword. He who takes the sword shall perish by it. Violence is not an option. Hatred is not an option. You want to practice violence on me? I will never return your violence in kind. I'll endure it. I'll drink this poisonous cup to the last drop. I will still not let the poison of hatred enter my heart. Your poison may enter my body, but it will not enter my soul. I'll keep it pure. And even as I go down, my soul will still radiate the light of love. That is called greatness. It is this greatness that we need to dream of. The India of my dreams is the India that is illumined by this greatness, because that was the India for which the foundation was laid by the Mahatma, who said, for the sake of justice for my people, the endangered Indian workers in South Africa, for the sake of securing justice for them, I am willing to die, but I will not kill. I will die, but I will not kill. That's the foundation. That's ahimsa. And the path to India's freedom was paved not by violence or culture of hatred, but by the strength, the awesome strength that befuddled the British, the awesome strength of ahimsa. Ahimsa is nothing but love at work. It's the expression of truth, but truth itself issues from love. There can be no truth without love. Love is divine. Love is divine. Love is divine. I love you. Let us celebrate love. The real Diwali of life, the real festival of life is love. I love you. Let's love our country. India deserves our love, not our hatred. Thank you.